Hello, hello, hello. Hope you are all having a beautiful week, day, month, all of the above. Today I'm going to be talking about body dysmorphia. Oh, I just accidentally muted myself. Today I'm going to be talking about body dysmorphia. Woo! Usually I like talking about topics that reflect the things that are going on in my life currently, reflecting current events, but in my own personal life, which is hence the name Gaining Clarity, because I'm quite literally gaining clarity and sharing that newfound wisdom with you. So this last week I had some instances where I caught myself going down a very, very deep body image spiral. Now I've talked about my struggles with body acceptance and my eating disorders and stuff like that. I have an episode called Body Acceptance is a Bitch. It's an hour-long episode. It's basically just telling my story, giving all the details, literally all the details on my history with food and all that stuff. But this video is different. This episode's going to be separate to that. I'm not going to be talking so much about that, but I'm going to be talking about the ways body dysmorphia affects me and trying to help those who don't have it get a sense of understanding of what it is like to have it. Because I think a lot of the times when people think about body dysmorphia, they kind of think about, it's just someone who looks in the mirror and doesn't like what they see. But in reality, a lot of people look in the mirror and they don't like what they see, right? That's just the reality of the society we live in. We're conditioned to believe that our looks must be perfect in order to be accepted, which is simply not true. Nobody is perfect, and even if they do look perfect, they're doing something imperfect to reach that level of perfection. This last week, body dysmorphia at an all-time high. Body dysmorphia is almost like being bipolar, but body version. Like, last week, I was feeling great about my body. I was very happy and satisfied with the way that I looked and the way that my body looked. In fact, that I was ready to take on a new career and inspire others. No, but I was just feeling very confident and happy with the way my body was looking. And I thought that, I was doing something right. I've been on a weight loss journey, and I was like, oh my God, did I finally figure out the thing to help me lose all the weight? Because I felt like I looked thinner, slimmer, and I was really happy because I felt like I could see the progress that I'd been working hard for so many months. And then this week, my period ended, and I felt like I looked so much more bloated. I felt like my body looked different than it did the week prior, and obviously our bodies don't change too drastically that quickly, but I felt like I looked a little more bloated. I felt like I just felt more inflamed and uncomfortable in my own skin, and I started going down this negative spiral of just feeling like shit and completely hyperfixating on specific areas of my body, more specifically my stomach. That's basically what body dysmorphia is hyperfixation on a specific body part. I remember the first time that I sort of discovered I had body dysmorphia. I think I was 16. I was a junior in high school, and I took this online quiz because I thought about it and I was like, do I have this? And the solution to finding out if you have something or not is taking an online quiz, right? And it came back and it was like, yep, you have it, girlfriend. Here's some resources to help you in your journey and help you if you want some support. And I was just like, I have body dysmorphia? What do I do with this information? So that's kind of when I first learned about what body dysmorphia was, and I learned that I had it. And I don't remember how it made me feel, but I just know that having a specific name for what you have, or having a diagnosis or something to identify what you're going through, sort of validates what you're going through in a way. I think that's why so many people get comforted by the idea of astrology, zodiac signs, or getting a mental health diagnosis, which I want to emphasize, I'm not belittling anything or saying I'm saying literally the opposite. Like, I'm saying that people cling on to these labels because it makes them feel comforted. And, I'm one of those people too. Like, being able to say like, oh, I feel this way because of my body dysmorphia. It's a way to identify why I'm feeling the way I am, which is beautiful. So body dysmorphia is a hyperfixation on a specific body part or specific part of yourself. It consumes your mind. Like, I'm talking about addictive, dark, and completely obsessive. Like, every reflection there is, you take a chance to look at yourself and look at that specific body part. If you haven't looked in the reflection for a certain period of time and you don't know what you look like, you start freaking out and your state of mind is completely altered and you're not able to be you. You're a different version of you. It's literally canceling plans because you hate the way you look, or dressing a certain way to hide the body part. It's, the list goes on, but these are some examples of how body dysmorphia can kind of control your life. A lot of people think like, oh, just suck it up. Like, you look good. Why are you complaining? I'm not complaining. I have a mental disorder, love. And I don't like to identify or like attach myself to these labels because I know that I can get through them. I know I can overcome them. I know I can work on them, but it's hard. It's really freaking hard. Just like anything else in life that you want to achieve, like doing the work is always hard because that's exactly what you're doing. It's like you're doing the work, right? So I don't know where I was going with that, but that's what body dysmorphia is. It's this obsessive state of mind on a specific body part. And so this week, which honestly I haven't been in this kind of state of mind for a while. I mean, since I gained weight, I've been generally unhappy with the way I've looked, but as I've worked on myself, gone to the gym, taking care of myself in multiple ways than just exercise and food, I've gotten happier with my appearance. I'm still looking at myself, but not in an obsessive hyperfixation way. But this last week was different because it reminded me of some of the old habits I would used to do, such as being unhappy with the way I looked or being unhappy with something in my day, and then resorting to food because of the emotional comfort it provided me. It's usually not quote unquote healthy food, all right? And then the next day I wake up and I feel like shit because of the crappy food I put inside myself and because of the state of mind I was in when I was consuming that food, right? It's not just about what you eat, it's about how you eat it. I did that and I ate late at night and I was just like not having it. I just didn't feel good in my body. I went to the gym the next morning and I was completely debating on whether or not I would go to the gym. My decision of whether or not I would go to the gym or not completely relied on if I looked bloated or not in the morning. So I put on my outfit for the gym, whatever, I put on my stuff for the gym. And I look in the mirror and I'm like, all right, this is acceptable to go to the gym, which is so fucked up, right? Like, if I thought I looked bloated, like, I wouldn't have gone. So afterwards, I went to this like pool thing at my friend's house, and that's where bathing suits are involved. And bathing suits have been something that I have always been uncomfortable with. I think the only time I'm like sort of comfortable is in a one piece. But yesterday, or whenever it was, I really felt like I kept looking at myself in my reflection wherever I could, and I didn't see something I liked, and I felt really ugly on the inside and out, and I felt like it affected my character and the way people saw me and perceived me, and that really bothered me to the point where I couldn't even be present in the moment. I was just constantly thinking about my body. As I walked away, are people looking at me right now? As I walked towards someone, are people looking at me right now? As I was talking to someone, are people looking at me right now? And then I felt like good when I was in the pool because you couldn't really see my body. But like, it's all I could think about the whole time. And I was extremely stressed. Even though I probably didn't show it, it was really stressful. But yeah, that kind of hyperfixation. And then I went to the park and I reflected on this a little bit. And I wrote in my journal and I was like, I wish I could give my inner child a hug. I wish I could be a mother for her, because there's so many times where I want to go to my mom and tell her that I'm having a bad body image day. So many times I just want to like cry in her arms and hug her. And I just want to be like, Mom, like, I hate the way I look right now. And I want her to just nurture me and tell me how beautiful I am and accept me for who I am. Because the truth is, sometimes my body dysmorphia is so bad that I think my own parents won't like me because of the way I look. Like, I'll be changing into my pajamas, and then if I don't look good in the pajamas I wear, I will change so that I look decent in front of my parents, so that they can accept and love me for the way that I am. Because I feel like if I look ugly, or if I don't look feminine, I don't look like a girl, that they won't like me as much, which I know isn't true, but it's all fucked up. There's a lot of inner work I need to do, and I have done some in the past, but I haven't done it for a while. But yesterday I sat down and I even filmed a YouTube video, and the whole time I was staring at myself and I was like, wow, I hate the way I look right now. Like, I look terrible, to the point where I wanted to scrap the whole video. If there's someone in your life that struggles with body dysmorphia, here's one thing not to do. Because it's basically just like unhelpful and unnecessary, is telling them that they look beautiful or that they look good. Now, I'm not actually, let me scratch that. Don't just completely avoid telling them that they look good when you think they look good. I think you should tell them that whenever you think it, especially in times where they might not expect it. If someone is telling you that they're struggling and they're being vulnerable with you and they're opening up and they're saying like, hey, I don't feel the best about my body right now. I'm thinking about maybe dipping into some bad habits. Someone literally told me this yesterday, because I was like posting something on my story and they swiped up and they said, hey, you're beautiful. You look good. Don't let the body dysmorphia get you, kid. And I was like, wow, you know what? I am healed. I know they had great intentions, and I appreciated them reaching out, and I appreciated that great intention, but it doesn't help whatsoever. It's just straight up unnecessary and unhelpful. It does absolutely nothing. I mean, it means a lot to me that they reached out in the first place. It shows that they care, but yeah, that's like the number one thing I would say not to do. Like, don't talk to them about their appearance while they're in a spiral about their appearance. You know what I mean? It's so hard, man. Literally, like, on the drive home, it's all I could think about. If I took any pictures that day, I would go through my camera roll and like stare at each picture for like minutes on end of myself, hyper focus on myself, and just think like, okay, if someone were to look at me, what would they think? It could be like a picture of a group, and I'll be looking at myself, and then I'll look at some other people and like compare them to myself. Oh my god, so bad. I really need to do some shadow work, some inner work. I really need to focus on the self-love. Just hearing myself talk about this has made me realize like how much I need to work on this. It's not going to go away on its own, and I can make it better by working on it, and I want to make it better. I don't want to be in this state of mind forever, and I've done it before, where I've done like a little bit of work every single day, journaled, shadow work, whatever I needed to do that day, and I think I got to a point where I genuinely loved myself and accepted myself and loved my body and accepted my body. I had done the work, was stable, I knew how to cope, and I feel like I've lost that. Gaining weight has really changed the way I've seen myself, and it's been a battle every day learning to love the new body that I'm in, learning to take care of the new body that I'm in. But I really want it, so I'm going to do that work. And saying all this out loud has made me realize how much I'm just like wallowing in it. And while it's hard to do it while I'm in that state of mind, because like while I'm feeling this shitty, I don't want to do anything to work on myself. But yesterday I did sit down and I wrote down some things for my morning ritual and my night ritual to help me set up my day and close my day. Just being really, having a lot of intention for incorporating positive habits for self-love and self-care, because I feel like I've been neglecting it for myself and then looking for it from other people, which I've noticed over the last month. And so some of the things that I that I wrote that I wanted to include just to share so that anyone can take this as they need, has been yin yoga at night. A quick 15-minute session, just holding a few poses, winding down, writing, journaling, expressing how I feel that way, reflecting on my day at the end of the day, expressing my gratitude for the things that happened throughout the day. In the mornings, breath work, meditation, writing as well, positive affirmations, mirror work. Mirror work is basically when you look in the mirror and you just talk to yourself. You speak positively, you speak loving to yourself. I've been trying to figure out a way to incorporate, because I'm trying to incorporate the love languages into my life so that I don't look for those things in other people. I think I've mastered quality time. I'm really good at spending quality time with myself. Something as simple as going to the park alone and just laying there in the grass and just being with my own company really brings me joy. And also going out to dinner with myself, I'm very good at that. I'm very good at being alone and independent, so I know how to show myself love in that way. Acts of service, I usually show myself love in this way by cleaning up my room, cleaning up my area, organization is really important to me because it's constantly chaos up in here. So if things aren't organized in my external physical world, then things are unorganized in my mind, in my internal world. So it's really important for me to remain organized, and it just keeps me balanced and sane. What's another one? One that I've been trying to master is touch, because I value touch, holding hands, getting a hug. And so I'm thinking how do I do that? Hug myself? That feels weird. I did this massage during a meditation the other day where I just traveled my hand up my arms and I just lightly massaged myself. But I'm thinking maybe touch. I guess yoga could be incorporated in that way, and just spend sitting with myself and showing myself love in the way that I need, putting my hands on my belly and speaking positive affirmations. I don't know, I still have to figure it out. Gift giving, bitch, I do that all the time. I give myself gifts all the time. I have no problem with that. And then lastly, what is the last one? Gift giving, acts of service, quality time, touch. What is it? Oh my god, wait, I'm gonna look this up real quick. What are the 5 love languages? Acts of service, gift giving, physical touch, quality time, and words of affirmation. Of course, how could I be so stupid? No, I'm not stupid, I'm just kidding. Words of affirmation, yeah. Just telling myself the things I want to hear from other people. I also really value communication. The small things. I will always tell everyone where I'm going, what I'm doing in detail. I will be specific. And if I'm not specific, it's for a reason. But I really value communicating, and if something's on my mind, I'm going to express it. If I'm grateful for someone because of something they did, I'm going to express it. A lot of the times I want someone to tell me they're proud of me, or that I did a good job, the things that your parents are supposed to tell you when you're growing up, or that they love the work that I did, or that, the things that I put up on YouTube or my podcast mean a lot to them. But why don't I just say that to myself? Like the things I want to hear, why can't I do that for myself? I think it feels great hearing it from other people because it's like an unbiased perspective in a way. Whereas when it's coming from ourselves, it almost feels egotistical. Like, oh, I don't deserve this praise, but I think we should do it more often. I think we should give ourselves credit more often. And I really want to do that. I really want to just, that's where the mirror work comes in. I really want to look in the mirror and tell myself the things I need to hear. That's what I'm trying to do. Just incorporating like positive habits so that I don't go into a spiral like that again. I'm also trying to focus on the things that I'm eating. I feel like there has been a lot of instability in my life recently. The only things that are stable are work and the gym, which have brought me some level of sanity. But, after a while, I also need stability in those other parts of my life. And, moving houses and moving like my whole life here and then just trying to adjust and all this stuff. And also my house being worked on, like my eating schedule and what I'm eating has been completely all over the place. And I've been someone that's always been very conscious of what I put into my body. I'm all for holistic health, including the stuff that you put into your body, aka the food that we eat. I've been passionate about it ever since my freshman year of high school. Even though it turned into something unhealthy, it was something that always stuck with me because it's the real epidemic of our world, right? Like, especially America. The amount of shit and toxicity that we consume through the food we eat because of false advertisement and false labels is crazy, atrocious. Like, and I was at a certain point I wanted to teach people about this and I wanted them to just like, I had all the best intentions, but anyway, going back to that now, after a while I sort of forgot about it. And like with my own mental stuff, like I sometimes just like don't care, I just want to like numb myself. I just don't want to feel the feelings I was feeling. I want to make myself feel better. So I'm not always gonna like think about, oh, being in great health. No, I just want to like quickly make myself feel better. So I've kind of been doing that with food, aka the other night when I ate out, I ate some fast food, and I felt like shit the next day. And so I've been like more conscious about what I'm putting in my body. And I've been working out for about 8 months now and focusing on my weight loss, but I haven't lost as much weight as I wanted to. I think I've lost about 12 pounds in 8 months, and I really wanted to lose 20. But I found myself hitting a plateau, and I've been in this plateau for so long. Like, I've been gaining muscle noticeably, but my stomach area has just been remaining the same, and my face has been remaining the same. And those are like the two places that I care about, like. And of course, those are the two places that I've had most trouble with losing weight in. And so I have been thinking like, maybe I just need to focus more on my gut. And so yesterday I sat down and I gave myself some guidelines, and I just like mindfully and consciously decided that I was going to be more mindful about the food I was eating, because I feel like I've just been eating whatever, whenever. I was tracking what I was eating for a while in order to remain in a calorie deficit and lose weight. And so I was like, I knew what was going into my body. But the last month I decided to say, fuck that. Like, if I'm going into a calorie deficit, maybe that's the reason I'm in a plateau. It's because I've overdone my deficit. So I was like, all right, let's slowly ease back into normal eating so that my body doesn't feel like it's in survival mode. And it's kind of helped. And then this last week happened, and I was like, oh, maybe that's not the solution. So then I was just like thinking like, all right, maybe I just need to eat more of the right foods, because I think I've been neglecting like the quality of my food, not necessarily what I've been eating, but the quality of what I've been eating. But that's besides the point. Actually, it's not besides the point, because the food you eat also does like directly impact the way you feel. So I think that making these changes and being very mindful and conscious about it is going to help me in other aspects of my life. You know, maybe it's not gonna have me have these unexpected mind tribulations, negative thoughts, negative spirals, and allow me to live more balanced. And I just want to be able to function 100% for the things that I love and give the things that I love my all. And I feel like recently I've been like having a little bit of a brain fog and just getting by, which is not what I like to do because I feel like shit when I do that. And so I just want to like kind of get my shit together. And this last week of body dysmorphia, in a way, sort of led me down a road of clarity, which is so funny because something so shitty that no one ever wants to feel like led me exactly where I needed to be. You know, even though I felt like shit this week, it really it served as a wake-up call to be like, Clara, if you want the change, you need to do the change. And I was sort of just like getting by. And now that I feel like I'm a little bit more stable in my living situation and everything, I think, you know, I can take the time and make the time to change the choices that I make. So yeah, if there's anything you get out of this episode, it's that don't let those negative days, negative thoughts get you down, right? You always have a chance to start over the next day. Every day is a new opportunity to change who you are. And if you're thinking, Clara, I got a mental illness, it's not that easy. Guess fucking what? So do I, all right? And I'm doing it. It's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But everyone's not doing it because that's fucking hard. But it doesn't mean you can't, all right? The way I like to get my shit together is by writing lists. I suggest you do it too. If it doesn't work, cool, but at least you tried, right? Write a list. Write of everything you want to improve. Write some habits, some things you want to incorporate into a morning routine. I like to write to-do lists. Anything I need to get done for the week, for the day. I like to write out my morning by the hour, by the minute sometimes. These are things that help me do it instead of just like thinking about it. I need to plan. If I want to take action, I need to plan it out in a way that I know I'll do it. It needs to seem new and exciting to me. Because and then after a while, it's not going to be new. It's not going to be exciting. So then I need to switch it up. But that's a problem we'll tackle later. The thing now is just starting. If you want to make the change, if you don't want to feel like shit, just do it. Plan it out. Do it the next day. You know, end the day well. Just because it didn't start well doesn't mean it can't end well. That's kind of what happened to me yesterday. My day started off like a little bit wonky, but it ended off pretty well. But yeah, I think that's all I want to touch on this episode. I know I was going to talk about, I pretty much said what needed to be said. Someone DM'd me today and they were like, it's been 7 days since you uploaded it on YouTube. Hurry up, girl. I was like, oh my God, this is funny. I got fans out there. We're almost at 200 subscribers, which is crazy. I'm going to have to do a 200 subscriber special soon. Very important. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. I love you all very much and appreciate you for listening to this and showing your love by listening. Even if it's just one person, it means the world to me. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.